Hello, you're watching Cal67 Gaming. We are now into May,
Yeah.
which means
Another month in games.
so we're another month gone there.
Yeah.
But big news this month, we got to go out,
Yeah.
got to go do some shopping and all that sort of gear. So that obviously ate into our video game time,
Yes,
but
it
not
did.
too much because I did still manage to play a few games.
But obviously, with that being it, the games that we have played a decent amount, I would say.
Doing all right.
So shall I begin where we always do?
We do. So this is a game that I've been playing. This one is Octopath Traveller. I do like an RPG. This
is the one that I asked you to play with.
this is kind of old school 16-bit inspired, but obviously on modern hardware. I'm playing this on the Series X.
Quite a lot of good games been going on Game Pass recently, to be honest.
There is, and this is definitely one of them. This one was a Switch exclusive for quite a while, but it's obviously going on Xbox now. I don't know if it's going on PlayStation, but it's definitely on Game Pass if you've got that, and worth the play, especially if you like these kinds of games.
It's made by Square Enix, isn't it?
It is. So you've got your classic turn-based combat, but you can see that you've also got you can stun your opponents with certain attacks. Obviously, being a Squeenix RPG, you've got all your spells and your physical attacks and what have you. This big goat seems to be taking a bit damage there. We'll have to find a way just to... It hits pretty hard as well. 230 hit points. Now that's Hannet's pet cat.
Some cat that
It's
is.
a hell of a cat, that one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Out of my way.
And actually at this point, all I'm doing is I'm doing a bit of a grind because I've done all the opening chapters.
So now you just need to level up your
I need to level up
characters.
so that I'm strong enough to take
The second
the
chapter
second lot of story missions. But I'll get there.
Yeah.
And as you can see, even though this is quite a strong enemy, it's not actually doing a lot of damage to me. I've kind of got the tactics down. And I feel I'll just finish it off with this with that 446 hit points.
I hope I grow more able.
So yeah, you did get me to play this game.
Yeah.
It's one that I was going to play anyway because I do like Squeenix RPGs.
And just RPGs in general, to be honest, don't you?
Well, I guess so. And this is a proper JRPG, so you got turn-based combat and all that kind of gear. And it's kind of like a love letter to the old SNES Squeenix RPGs, or I should say Square and Enix RPGs, because they weren't Squeenix at the time. The graphics have got that
Retro vibe.
well, they have, but it's not like it's throwback graphics. Although everything's pixelized, you couldn't have done this game on older hardware, on 16-bit hardware, because there's advanced lighting techniques and some of the graphical flourishes that's on there. You just couldn't have done. There's the genuine 3D on there as well, which that just makes it a more modern experience, despite having a very dated feel about it. For me, I just thought it was a great game.
You're going to continue
I'm going to
playing
continue playing it. I'm grinding through it to get my level up, so I can continue on with the stories. And that's a different thing because it's stories plural.
Yeah, because there's multiple characters, each with their own stories, isn't
Well,
there?
all RPGs have got multiple characters, but Most just have a single narrative that runs through the whole game.
Whereas this one has one for each character.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that it's 8 because it's Octopath Traveller.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we go with it, but enjoying it so far. And if anyone's got Game Pass, get it downloaded. It's a great time fella.
Now, last month you chose for me Persona 4 to play for this month, which coincidentally was the one that you chose for me the month before,
It
wasn't
was.
it?
But it takes some time to play.
Yeah. 'Cause
So
it's
have
in
a look.
Yeah.
I asked you to play a bit more of this. We still haven't managed to get an HCDP stripper. Have ordered one, but I don't know if it's going to work. But anyway, this is Persona 4.
Yes.
We,
I've completed the second palace.
right. How many palaces is there? Do you know?
I'm going to assume there's at least 4.
Right, so you still got ways to go.
Yeah, because I think there's 4 people who can join yours, having a palace. Now this one is Kanji's palace. Obviously, in the previous month there was Yukiko's. But I'm just waiting for him to recover, so I thought I'd do a quick bit of grinding after I increase relationships with Yukiko, because it means that she can then do stuff like help people up, treat their ailments and stuff. So it's quite good to actually have the time off after you've saved them. So
there's a little bit of battling going on here.
yeah.
None of these enemies appear to be particularly strong, though.
Well, that's because actually I've done a decent amount of leveling. To be honest, I think I'm level 29 or something in the second palace. So I've done quite well.
You've got an advantage here as well. All seems to be one-hit kills here. Did you really need to heal, or are you just taking the piss?
Well, I'm doing that because I was actually on half health, because my persona attacks mainly use HP.
Alright, okay.
Well, I found Persona 4 be quite enjoyable to play through.
Well, you should, because you love Persona 5.
I love Persona 5, and just like last time, it's very different in the way that it sort of, I guess, plays out, because there's
It plays exactly the same. You got the same calendar mechanic and travelling around the place.
It's the same, but it feels different in a sense.
But it's a different story.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's probably why, and I don't know why, but I think I've kept the same weapons and armour since the beginning.
Well, maybe you want to look at swapping them out at some point,
But
otherwise
to be
you're going to
honest,
hit a brick wall.
But to be honest, I have been doing well, as even you've been saying. I was one-shotting the enemies in there, but at the current moment, I'm doing a bit of grinding, just like you were on your Octopath Traveller. But instead of you grinding to get to your next point where you'll be at a similar level, I'm waiting so that Kanji will recover, because that was his palace that I was just in, and I'll see who I need to save next.
Yeah. So you're going to keep playing it?
I'm
You're going to play to the end?
Yes, it seems like I definitely should, because...
You should?
Yeah. It's one of those where I am genuinely enjoying it, and Persona 5 was one of my favourite games for the PS4, if not my favourite. So, yeah, definitely one that I will continue to the end.
So that's what we asked each other to play, but obviously we do like to play a lot of games. So there was games that we picked ourselves, and the first of which, a little bit of a clue here, I did play the first ever PlayStation game on an Xbox. I played MLB The Show 21. And I've played
You quite like playing sports games, don't you?
I do quite like playing sports games. This one I was particularly keen to play because it's like the strangest. That's a great shot there. It's going to get a double off that, by the way. Just kept it in. Yeah, just kept it in bounds. But
With this being normally a PlayStation exclusive, but this time it's on Xbox,
this is
isn't
the
it?
first game that has ever been on the Xbox, on any Xbox. Playing this one on obviously the Series X, where you load it up.
And it shows the PlayStation Studios.
Sony Computer Entertainment presents PlayStation on an Xbox.
No, this is on Game Pass though.
That was on Game Pass. So from that point of view, it is kind of like when Sega first went onto a Nintendo system. Except Sony aren't going bankrupt or getting out the hardware game. It's quite weird. Anyway, you see here I've got my man on bass. Another one popped off foul there. But this guy is he hits dingers. Watch. He'll hit one. There we go. That one is gone. He's not even bothering to run, just having a little walk round. When you're good, you're good. Home run. He's having a little jog around now. There's those packed stands that we've been used to seeing during the pandemic as well. You'd have thought that one of these games would have put an empty stadium on.
Yeah.
Well, you have a great night in hockey. You scored 3 goals, and that's a hat.
That was a nice hit, that.
Hitting 3 home runs in one night. That's the baseball equivalent of a hat trick.
Didn't give anybody a chance of retrieving that. That was well gone. And the game that I did that in was World Series, and it was actually only game 4. I'd done a clean sweep. Now you see my Dodgers team lifting the trophy. So it's definitely weird. Booting up the Series X and being
greeted to a PlayStation logo.
And then it fires up the X, the circle, square, and the triangle. But I get
it's not one of the main first-party titles, though, is it? Because it's a sports
absolutely,
game.
Absolutely not, and you're not going to get
Horizon or Days Gone or God of
get
War.
Last of Us or anything like that. On
You're not going to get
Xbox.
like the main titles, really.
But what you are going to get is that MLB, the show, for a number of years now, has been probably the best sports title that there is out there. Just the way that it's presented, it's...
They actually do update things instead of just using the same game, like FIFA and stuff.
I mean, I love baseball, but I would love to have Sony do what they did once upon a time. I was going to say, I'd love to see them do a football game, but they done This Is Football back when. I loved This Is Football as well. That was the best football game at the time. Sony needs to do more sports titles, but it's just not where the money is, I guess, which is why they...
Probably because there's that many sports games out every single year.
Well, I guess.
So having multiple football games, and I get there's
I think
your PES and your FIFA. But I think it's because there's that much competition in
I don't even think
sports.
it's that. I think it's the profit margin when you have to factor in the fact that you have to buy the license as well. But you look at the MLB license and no one else has got it, which is why you end up with a PlayStation game on the Xbox, because there isn't another studio that's using the MLB license. So it's obviously not costing them a lot, but it's a brilliant game that they've put together. Like I say, for a number of years now, it's been the best sports title on the market.
Well, because Sony take time in developing, really. They don't just try and... If they have to, they won't pump it out every single year, they will, though. That's the thing.
No, they do pump it out every year.
No, they do, but if they had to...
But
like,
this is
extra.
all that Sony San Diego do, is baseball, and they've really got it down to a fine art now. So I did play that. I really loved it. It is on Game Pass, and even if you don't love baseball like I do, for just the sheer novelty of seeing on
The
your
PlayStation
Xbox,
buttons.
Sony Computer Entertainment presents.
PlayStation
worth that.
Studios and stuff, yeah.
Absolutely worth it.
Now, obviously, you've been playing MLB, which is a game on Game Pass. Now, I've also played a game on Game Pass, and I've played Outriders. This is just one on Game Pass, and this is Outriders now.
We do get a lot of value off Game Pass.
Yeah.
I feel that we get far more value off Game Pass than we do off PlayStation now.
Yeah, and this is Outriders, and for me, I found it to be quite a bit like Destiny.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought this was just Gears of War.
Well, it's a bit of both, really.
I've actually caught you playing it and thought you were playing Gears of War. It's so similar. But this
Well, it's
obviously
made by the
is
same people as Gears of War.
this is like is this an MMO, is it?
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't played a lot of it, but I have played a decent amount to the point where I'm level 9, and I've went with a Pyromancer class because you get to be a different.
Oh, what's
things
this
which-
big bird, do you think? Is that Tweety Pie?
And I found it to be a bit like Destiny, and as you say, a bit like Gears of War. But I think the main reason why it's a bit like that is because both Epic Games and People Can Fly done this, with Square Enix as well. So, very good game though.
So has it got the Square Enix like RPG element stuff in it?
Well, as I say, I haven't got far into it, but I'd say definitely has some aspects of it. But all around just a great shooter in my book, so.
I can take that down, aye. There you go.
Heal myself up. Now, as I said, I found it to be quite a bit like Destiny. Only because of the way that the leveling system plays out. And
Well, you've got that whole thing where it's like the
open world shooter.
the structure of the game's like a Destiny or Anthem or something like that, because it's this whole game's a service thing, isn't it? But
Yeah.
the game itself is not Destiny.
It doesn't. It's not like that. Yeah, it is a bit more like Gears of War when you're in the massive battles and that, because it's more of a cover shooter. The only reason why I do say it is a bit like Destiny is because of how you play with, like, obviously with my character it's fire, because it's a pyromancer. It's a bit like Destiny. I think was a warlock that you could play as, and you'd have magic there. So that's why I bring the similarities in, with also the way that the game can play out.
The only thing that I'm not really too sure about, when I've seen you playing it, you're just playing by yourself. But this isn't. It's like an online game.
Yeah, you can
So
play with other people and
Do
stuff.
you team up with people at all, or?
You can. I don't know why I just choose not to really.
Well, I suppose it stops you having to put up with.
Yeah.
With idiots, and there's plenty of them online.
Yeah. But obviously that means that because there's online play, if you've got some friends who have it, and you'd want to play later the game, and obviously you've either like Destiny or you've like Gears of War, then I'd say it's probably one of them games where if you do have a Game Pass, then it's one to download and play with your friends.
So you're not got any friends that play it?
But I don't mind playing these games by myself, to be honest, because I quite like just sitting down and playing through a shooter, even if it's like bit by bit. So
Yeah, as long as you're enjoying it, I guess. I'm trying to think what else I've played a lot of this month. One that'll probably shock you when you see it. Well, it'll shock you and it'll not shock you. It won't shock you because it's more retro. Is it back on the PlayStation 2, which is that a retro console now?
I guess you could class it as somewhat. It's not full on, but I'd say it is.
I
decently
think
in
what
there.
to say retro console is more than 20 years old.
So is it going to get to the point where when the PS6 and everything comes out, the PS3 is going to be classed as
It's going to
retro?
have to be, but I have played on the PS2, which I quite often do, but I've really played
It's not a
this
bad
game.
console, to be honest.
It's my best-selling console
Yeah.
of all time. But I have played a lot of this particular game. In fact, completed this particular game, although it's not a massively long campaign. I've been playing Cold Winter. Check me out, playing a first-person shooter.
Not like you.
No,
At all.
not at all. But I saw some good reviews of this game online, and I knew that we had it, but neither of us had ever actually played it. So I did play it all the way through.
Which is even more surprising.
Well, I quite got into this because I don't know if you remember a little while ago I played GoldenEye on the N64, and this reminded me a lot of that, except with better controls. Because obviously you got dual analog. I mean, you still don't use triggers for firing and such like. This was annoying as well because you see when I'm zoomed in here, the aiming's not quite there. It's slightly to the. You have to aim slightly to the left, which I didn't like much at all. But that's a minor gripe because it's not a weapon that I actually used a lot in this particular level. Just that's what you start you out on. There you go, shotgun. So now just
With only 3 shells.
doesn't matter. That's 3 faces to send into oblivion. There you go. Just run straight up to them, shoot them in the face.
Now why not take the SMG?
Because I'm going run up to them, shoot them in the face. Watch. Run up, shoot in the face.
It seems like they've all got an SMG, so you get more ammo of that one.
Aye, but I can run up and shoot them in the face. That didn't quite work. But what's he standing next to? Red things in games, don't stand next to them because they blow up. Here you see again, I mean, I'm right on, like with the aim, but it misses because you have to be aimed slightly to
Yeah,
the left.
watch out for the grenade.
Alright, avoid that. And usually you can find things on the dead bodies. These ones don't appear to have much. So
Very shocking that you've played a first-person shooter, because you never play
no,
them, do you?
I don't particularly.
If you
and
do
I'll
play
tell you
shooter-
what, I got to like I don't know what level, maybe 5th, 6th level, and they started putting in platforming elements in it, and Mirror's Edge it was not. The platforming it was horrible. The mechanic didn't work particularly well because it wasn't precise enough, and it really frustrated the hell out of me. Did get through it, did complete the game. As I said there, this game really does remind me of GoldenEye on the N64, except with much better controls. I did enjoy going through it, and it's not too long a game. I think I mentioned that as well. It's quite a short campaign. I think it was only about 6-7 hours,
Which
something
is quite
like that,
short, to be honest.
to get through it. But for me, that was plenty because, like, you know,
You don't play first-person shooters.
Yeah, I absolutely don't.
So.
But I did play this one. Did quite enjoy it. When it comes to the first person shot, I mean, one of the things that I really don't like is just like the big open spaces where there's always somebody behind you shooting you in the back of the head. So the fact that a lot of this was done in tight corridors, kind of like Doom, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's something that I really liked. I remember, I think I played the original Halo as well, and that was kind of the same thing, wasn't it? The enclosed corridors. Not don't think the ones subsequently have been quite so confined, but definitely enjoyed it. If anyone's got it in their collection and hasn't played it, it's only 6 or 7 hours out of your life, and you may very well enjoy it. I think, especially if you liked GoldenEye, which a lot of people do like GoldenEye on the N64. Definitely give it a go.
Now, this is my last game which I played this month, but I found it to be quite a really good, and again quite a short one. This is the Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now this is the
You quite got into Resident Evil since you played through 7.
Yes.
Which one's this? Is this 2 or
This
3?
is the third one, but it's the remake, obviously.
Is it? Oh, see, I thought that looked just like PlayStation 1 graphics.
No, this is the Resident Evil 3 remake. This is Stage 3 Nemesis, which is the final boss of the game. So I have genuinely completed this game.
Wasn't that handy that there just happened to be a super weapon
Yeah,
just lying about?
Just happened to be a railgun lying there.
You'd have thought he might have made his nest somewhere else.
But it needs power. That's the thing. And before this boss battle, you actually have to fight him once again. So you've had to fight him 2 times in a row. See how good he's taking out. I guess he's support.
So this remake, it's not really in the spirit of the original Resident
They did
Evils.
cut out quite a bit of it, but
No, just like the gameplay's not in the spirit of the original Resident Evils. Because those PlayStation 1 games were
fixed cameras.
fixed cameras and the survival horror. They weren't shooters at all.
No, but it's still a good game, I would say.
Right, so if it's dead, why are you running about fixing the wiring?
Because he's not actually dead.
Looks pretty dead to me.
All I've done was stun him so that I could recharge them. See? He's gotten back up.
Maybe you should have taken that one out first. Or pushed that one back in first, I should say.
There we go. I mean, I did take a hit there, so...
You did, didn't you? Oh, clothesline.
First aid spray. I was 1 shot away from death there. See how we go.
How the hell can Jill carry that?
Because it's Jill Valentine, okay? Don't ask me how.
There's no way she can lift that.
Yeah, we'll go. This should kill
Is
him
this
off.
quick time events then, eh?
Not really. It's just a short way to get to the final blow.
We might have overblooded that.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he's filled with acid, so
So why is she not dead?
I don't know. Now, as I said, it's quite short.
How short's this one?
About 4 hours.
See, I seem to remember the
Yeah.
Resident Evil games on the PS1 were not 3-hour games. They were
Yeah.
monsters.
That's the one downfall I'd say, because they cut out quite a lot from the original, and that's kind of shortened it down quite a lot. I will
So is
say
it a cash grab? It's not a proper remake.
it's not a proper remake on like 2. 2's quite a decently length game, which I think came out about 10 hours or even more if you went along and done quite a lot of it. But for a very short game, it's very good. I'd say I did quite enjoy it playing through it. The only bad thing is Nemesis. He's not like that ever-looming presence that like is in the original. He's quite scripted in his attacks.
Well, all modern games are better. I noticed that the bit you were playing there.
Yeah, the final boss, which is stage
Well,
3.
looking at quick time events for some of the time there.
That's one of the things.
I thought QTEs died.
I guess, but to be honest, it's not like all the time in the game. Most of it is shooting and that, but also there is some elements where I found it quite good, especially in the hospital, where you played as Carlos, who obviously didn't show up in the final boss fight, because he was too busy on the roof with Nikolai fighting. But no, I found it to be quite a good and short game, so if you have it, I'd say it's definitely worth the play. Obviously very short, but very good.
Yeah, well, that's all right. That's a recommendation.
Definitely a
I'll
recommendation.
fill in 3 hours a year life.
Yeah, to be fair, for people who don't have the vast amounts of time to play games, I'd say it's definitely one of those which is very good for the short amount of time.
Well, probably the last one that I put any real time into this month. And I did put some real time into this one. You've got no choice. Anyone who's played any of the
games in the
series
series.
games will absolutely know how much time you can get sunk into this. And this again was on Game Pass. Brilliant value for money, Game Pass at the minute.
Quite a lot of good games going on it.
There certainly is. This one is a one that I didn't expect to see because I don't think we've had it before on Xbox, but this was Football Manager 21. Yeah, no, I like football games, but this one's a bit different because you don't actually play it. Well, you do play it, but you don't play the game.
You don't play as the players.
No. You play. So all I'm doing here is watching my team play it. I'll pick the tactics, pick the players, and they go out and do it for me. And you see right from the kick-off, my Celtic team doing brilliantly. Here we go. This is a little bit later in the game.
Because it searches for highlights, doesn't it?
It does, but
instead of showing you the entire 90 minutes.
That's a great overlap that by Laxall. Not a great cross, I'll give you that. But Forrest get us in there, and a Yeti with the goal. Might be time to start celebrating. That was a terrible cross by Laxall. I don't know what he was thinking. Worked out in the end though. Good header by a Jetty. Let's see here, we've got a free kick in a dangerous position. Ryan Christie going to put that one into the danger area, and Scott Brown will just toe poke it in the back of the net. Not a problem. 2-0's a decent away win, you know.
It's quite good.
Especially at the point in the season that I'm at here, because I'm 1-1 away from the title. You see we're deep into injury time here now. Motherwell on the attack, but they're not going to score.
There's the final whistle.
It certainly is, which means the Premiership champions are Celtic. Managed to do what they couldn't do
This season.
in reality this season. Quite strange having the trophy presentation in an away ground, but hey ho. See all the fireworks going off there.
Confetti.
Yeah, happy days. What's with that cartwheel? I'd just like to say, if Dermot Desmond's watching, I am available for next season. You don't have to go down the Eddie Howe or Jose Mourinho route, or whoever the latest name in the mix is. I'm available. Don't have my FIFA license yet, but I'm sure I could get it. I'd have got you the 10.
It's another sports game for you, though, isn't it?
It's a sports game, but it's a strategy game as well.
It's a strategy.
It's like a management sim. You don't actually play any of the games yourself. You're in charge of the club's finances, and you pick the tactics, the formations, all that kind of gear, and you are responsible for improving the team, bringing youth players through from the reserves.
It's just stuff which FIFA doesn't do pretty much.
Well, pretty much, and obviously looking for new talent. I will just say, if anyone is playing this one and you're looking for a defender, Anel Amadodzic that I've signed from Malmo, get him signed. He's absolutely brilliant, 21-year-old centre back. Him alongside Chris Haya, absolutely brilliant. And obviously had to promote Karamoko Dembele from the reserve team. He's come in and done a great job for me. See, bring through the youth as well. Dermot Desmond, if you're watching, give me a call, or hit me up on Twitter. The thing comes up at the start of the video. You know where I am.
You're seriously thinking he's actually going to watch this, though, don't you?
Yeah, not a chance.
No,
He doesn't
exactly.
watch Celtic. What the hell's he going to watch?
Exactly.
Anyway, so I played that, and that's been great fun. I haven't actually quite finished the season yet. I've still got the Scottish Cup final.
You've still got to get the rest of the stuff.
So I've won the league. I've won the Betfred Cup, just the FA Cup to go.
What about Champions League?
Oh, I got dumped out of that quite quickly. Aye, that came too early in my tenure.
Yeah, well.
But I don't know if I'm going to go on with this, because usually I do one season and done. But I've put some foundations in place, bringing the youth players through, bringing in a couple of new signings. I might go on a little bit further. Don't know. But that was the main games that we played
This month. But that means that it brings us to what games we've chosen each other for next month.
It certainly does.
So what have you chosen for me then? Eh?
A game that you should have played a long time ago anyway. Let me see. A game that you desperately wanted, that we got you, and you never fucking played. This is Borderlands 3. You have played the first two all the
And
way
the
through.
pre-sequel.
And the pre-sequel. Oh,
actually,
there was a first three, was it though?
Then I played a decent amount of the pre-sequel. I don't know if I completed it.
That's been a shooter. I haven't played it, but I did play Tales from the Borderlands, the Telltale game, and I actually quite like the universe setting that you've got for it. So you're going to play that on the Xbox One.
Yep. Now for you, I chose a game which you did start, right? But I don't believe you completed it all the way through. I chose a PS4 game for you, and it is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, I'm sick of playing this.
I don't care, you're playing it through, because that's another one of your habits.
I haven't actually completed it, so I don't know how far through I am with it.
But it's one of your habits, isn't it? To start a game and never complete it.
Yeah, there's quite often.
Just like trying to rush through an RPG.
There's quite often new shiny things that I have to look at. But yeah, that'll be the start of next month in games. We'll be playing those.
Probably some other games as well.
Well, I'm sure there will be some other games. But that's it for this video. If you haven't already,
Give us a like, a share, and a subscribe, and turn the notification bell so you get notified on when we upload. And we will see you in the next video.